Coming up, gay conversion. Yukon students want it stopped. There's a national campaign to stop a controversial psychological practice, and students in Yukon are joining in. They want the territory to ban what's called conversion therapy. That's the practice of trying to change someone's sexual orientation through counseling, behavior modification, or medication. It's a practice they say is harmful to gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender youth. Philip Morin tells us more about their campaign, which has already led to legislative change in 3 provinces.
Alrighty guys, so how much do you guys know about conversion therapy?
Mercedes Bacon-Traplin is in grade 12. She's speaking now in what's called the Rainbow Room, a space for LGBTQ youth to gather at Porter Creek Secondary.
It still does go on. It's a little bit different than how it used to be, but it still for sure goes on.
Conversion therapy has recently been under a spotlight. The practice stems from a belief that certain sexual identities are a disease which can be cured. The Wall of Heroes in the Rainbow Room illustrates the history. The middle image is that of famous English mathematician Alan Turing. He was subjected to harsh chemical treatments in the 1950s and later took his own life.
In the past, they've used things like electroshock therapy, even lobotomies to try to or chemical castration, things like that to try to change them into straight. Ultimately, these things didn't really work, though.
These practices may not happen in Canada today, but there are still therapies that share the basic premise, trying to cure LGBTQ identity.
We see ourselves as this free country of equal rights, and we've moved so far, and yet I feel as though there's this one piece of our past, our very dark past, in which a lot of people suffered, that we're still holding on to.
The students aren't alone in their condemnation. Conversion therapy has been denounced by the Canadian Psychological Association, the American Psychiatric Association, and the World Health Organization, among others. Already, Manitoba, Ontario, and Nova Scotia have passed laws condemning it. Students here say Yukon should do the same.
Gay marriage is legalized in Canada. Why can't this therapy that they have be banned and all that? Because it just seems trying to change someone for who they are is not really right, in my opinion.
Hopefully it gets passed and everyone's aware of it. Hopefully it will eventually be banned everywhere in Canada too.
At this session, the students finalized the wording of their petition. It calls for Yukon to enact legislation banning conversion therapy to minors in Yukon. It also calls to enact legislation prohibiting transporting minors outside of Yukon or Canada for such purposes. This week, the students invited MLA Kate White, who explained how the petition could be read into the Yukon Legislative Assembly.
The clerk will accept it, and then the government will have to respond. And they will have 8 legislative days before they have to make their response.
In taking part in this campaign, the young people are learning about the democratic process and their own power to introduce ideas and be heard.
I've never done it before, so it's exciting to be talking to the government about something like this, trying to get them to change something so terrible.
It's an interesting feeling. It's like, you know, you have the possibility to do so much change, and like knowing that you can do that, it's really empowering.
Yukon's Legislative Assembly meets until April, and it's likely the petition will be presented before then. Philippe Morin, CBC News, Whitehorse.